Hey y'all, welcome back to Andrea Speaks TV. I'm your host Andrea, back to bring you news and commentary you can use. Listen y'all, I want to come on and talk about a very concerning story. Maybe you've heard about it, maybe not, but you know, that's the purpose of me having this channel, so I can bring you news and commentary you can use. Listen y'all, I don't know if you're aware or not, but on March 1st, right, there was a major cut for many families, those who receive SNAP benefits. I'm going to talk about it, but they saw drastic cuts to their benefits. Listen, y'all, so much so that according to information I'm reading, says that cuts to SNAP benefits, okay, those cuts to the SNAP benefits will push millions over the hunger cliff. Okay, that's what they're talking about. You all know we talk about food shortages, water shortages, increasing food prices, inflation here on the channel. So I thought this was a topic that was one we needed to discuss, right? Let me know your thoughts on this topic, y'all. The information that I'm reading says that millions of people in the US are now facing the risk, okay, of, as the title of the article says, being pushed over the hunger cliff. Okay, starting in 2020, let me give you some background knowledge, right? Starting in 2020, the pandemic pulled back the curtain on the tattered state of the U.S. safety net and the millions of families who were falling through, okay? Hunger rates were expected to soar like they did during the Great Recession. But that's not what happened, okay? Thanks to a pandemic expansion of the Federal Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, that's SNAP, okay, the abbreviation of SNAP, millions of Americans kept food on their tables during an unprecedented public health and economic emergency, okay? These emergency allotments, they're being called, made food easier to access and increased the number of people who were eligible. Hunger rates stayed put. This is according to the research now. Hunger rates stayed put during the emergency and poverty actually fell. This is what they're saying now. But listen, y'all, okay, unfortunately, that enhanced food assistance came to an end on March 1st because Congress, what the article is saying, Congress failed to make them permanent, okay? With the double whammy of inflated food prices, you all know I've taken with you in the stores with me, and I've shown you how it seemed like across several different categories, right? Food categories. Food prices are constantly increasing. So the question I want to ask is, why at a time when we have inflation, okay, increasing food prices, many people, I don't know if this is also a news story, but many people are facing the prospect of, their jobs going away, stores closing, jobs being replaced, human labor being replaced by robot labor. We talked about that also here on the channel. All of these factors are going on right now, okay? You see how our economy is, although we're being told to believe that the economy is strong. I don't think we have to have any type of specialized degree or training to realize that, hey, something's just not right about the times that we're living in, right? It's very unusual. All of these factors, right, taken into consideration, how is it that this extra assistance, now I'm going to go into some details and give you some numbers, but how is it that something like this could be happening now at a time like this? Why wasn't it extended? And I know, there are some that'll say, well, Andrea, maybe these people had time to be prepared. But the numbers are going to shock you just to see how, much more people were receiving and what's now being taken away, okay? Listen to this, y'all, okay? Children, workers, and vulnerable elderly folks, okay, according to the information, who rely on SNAP benefits, the article says, will now lose, you ready for this? Listen, y'all, they will now lose an average of $90 per month. Now, you may say, well, that's a small number, but I would say that's a good amount. That's a large amount for many people, right? They're going to lose an average of $90 per month. Think about how much food, even with inflation, think about how much food you can buy with $90, okay? Daily food assistance will fall from an average of $9 per person per day to an average of $6.10 per person per day. Think about this, y'all. Now, the Department of Agriculture's recently updated Thrifty Food Plan, okay, you can do your research on this Thrifty Food Plan, for SNAP beneficiaries softens the blow for some families, but that program is already being targeted by what the article says are conservatives in Congress The information says if they roll back the Biden administration's update, benefits could plummet further to just $4.75 per day. Now, I did some more research. I do remember, maybe you have some knowledge of this as well. I want to say maybe in some states, I believe it may have just been in some states, they were trying to limit what people could actually purchase with their SNAP benefits. There was some concerns that people were buying what some would call, I don't know, luxury food, steaks, lobsters, things like that. A lot of people had an issue with that. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just reporting information. But a lot of people had issues with that and were saying, hey, well, if they're getting free money, they shouldn't be buying all this, stuff that may or may not necessarily be needed. They should just be, given the basics. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Again, I'm not here to say it's right or wrong. Okay. Now, the lawmakers, the article says, should try eating well on $6 per day, never mind on less than $5. Okay. That's what they're saying. How well can you eat on that amount of money per day, right? The article also says that for older Americans, the blow will be even worse. Seniors who ordinarily qualified. Now, listen to this, y'all. This is pretty shocking. Listen to these numbers. For older Americans, the blow will be even worse. Seniors who ordinarily qualify for only the most meager benefits before the pandemic emergency allotments now face the steepest hunger cliff. Listen, y'all. Their monthly allotment will plunge from $281 a month to just $23 a month, about 75 cents per day. Do y'all see how big of a difference? Like, just listen to this again, y'all. Their monthly, talking about older Americans, seniors, right, who qualify, their monthly allotment will plunge. We're talking about SNAP benefits. Their monthly allotment will plunge from $281 a month to just $23 a month, about 75 cents per day. The article says these tragic, unnecessary cuts will undermine one of our country's most effective anti-poverty and anti-hunger programs. Okay. Very concerning, y'all. There are some anti-hunger advocates, like the Food Research and Action Center, have put forward several legislative priorities to enhance SNAP benefits and to increase access. They're calling to close existing gaps in access, allow the purchase of hot food with SNAP benefits, end the 3-month and 3 years time limit for certain beneficiaries, and expand benefits to those in need. Like, for example, they list low-income college students, residents of U.S. territories, and lawfully present immigrants. They're also calling to end the lifetime ban that prevents formerly incarcerated people from receiving food assistance. Okay. Y'all, let me know your thoughts on this. Again, it seemed like this comes at a, just a terrible time to be, making some cuts like this. But are those cuts necessary? Why do you feel like those cuts were made? And the money that we're now allegedly saving by making these cuts, what do you think that money, how do you think that money should be used? Or do you think that money should be used to continue the benefits for many, many people who may need them? There are some people, I don't know, some people may have the mindset that there are people that are just on benefits to try to, get around the system or use the system. There are some people who, for whatever reason, situation they've been placed in, they're using it as a temporary need, to help them get to, a better position. But, I can't help but to think of this situation and think, hey, what are the possible solutions? This is another example, I believe, why, we need to move towards being as self-sufficient, self-reliant as possible, which means growing our own food, preserving our own food. There are some families who may work together, purchase groceries. Okay, we have excess of this, do you want to swap this food for that food? And then also think about the strain now that this would put on, the further strain that this is going to put on food banks. So much so that there are also articles and research out there saying that food banks are now bracing for an increase in demand due to families who receive cuts and maybe some who lost jobs, different situations they have going on. They're now turning to food banks to get assistance. Well, if you remember last year sometime when I talked about the food banks, I said, how they're already facing cuts themselves. And so, I don't know, it just seemed like it just comes at a bad time. Many people are struggling, just trying to get by every single day, trying to get to trying to put themselves in a better position, many of them. But what is it going to take to help these families who are in need? Okay, please let me know your thoughts. As always, thank you all so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate you all. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Okay, it seems like something needs to be done, but what needs to be done? I want to hear from you.